Hey, my friend, let's talk about money. This is a topic that I love to discuss because I think not enough people are talking about this and not enough people understand money and what it really is. And people have a lot of limiting beliefs about money. And I know I have struggled with that as well. And I want to shed some light on some things today to help you have more financial success in your life and get out of your own way and stop feeling guilty or ashamed for prospering in life. And, we all have these beliefs and ideas about money that were passed down to us from when we were very young children and from the society and culture that we grew up in. We have these ideas about money, and a lot of these ideas are in our unconscious mind, and we might not realize that they're shaping our lives, but they are. And they're keeping us stuck in at a certain financial level. And I realized in my early 20s, when I started studying many of the most successful people in the world, I realized that successful people who have a lot of money and are financially prosperous, they think very differently than the masses do. They think about money very, very differently. They understand money completely differently. And that is the reason they were able to prosper financially. It's not because they got lucky or they had some advantage that other people don't have. It's literally just because they think about it differently. They understand things that ordinary people just don't. And today I want to talk about, some of the major beliefs that are passed down to us that prevent us from having more money and abundance in our lives. One of those common beliefs that you hear all the time is, well, money doesn't buy happiness. Money can't buy you happiness. And I actually agree with that in many ways. Money can't directly buy you happiness, but it can indirectly increase your likelihood of being happy. Because money can't buy you happiness, but it can buy you freedom. If you know how to use money, if you know how to make money in ways that ordinary people don't, then you can use money to gain a lot of freedom in your life. And what does freedom give you? Freedom gives you the ability to focus on things that you want to focus on. So it's a lot harder to focus on, for example, self-care, taking care of yourself, being gentle and loving with yourself, and having, time to play and to spend time with your family and things like that. Most people can't dedicate a lot of time to those things that are important to them because they're spending a lot of their time at a job trying to make money, trying to pay the bills, right? So a lot of people don't have the focus on the things that would fulfill them because they're spending so much of their time working for money. So money doesn't buy you happiness directly, but it does free up your attention to focus on other things. If you had financial freedom in your life and you didn't have to work at all, and you had passive income coming in every month and you didn't have to work that much for it, it was just your investments bringing you money, for example. If you had that level of freedom in your life, that would give you the ability to focus on anything you wanted to focus on. So maybe it's your spiritual growth. Maybe you're like me and you're you consider yourself a spiritual person. Spiritual growth and understanding is important to you in your life. Well, if that's the case, having financial freedom gives you a lot of free time to go meditate or do your spiritual practices and spend more time focusing within yourself. You have a lot more time to dedicate to that, which means you can make a lot more progress in that area of your life, which can directly lead to more happiness in your life. So money doesn't directly buy happiness, but it indirectly gives you the ability to focus on things that can make you more happy. So it's not required for happiness, but it does make it easier in many ways to be happy when you have money, when you have all your basic needs taken care of. Maybe you learned in college or whatever, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the pyramid, where our basic needs are down at the bottom of the pyramid, and our attention isn't really freed up to focus on higher purposes until we have those basic needs met. So if you're still working a 9-to-5 job in order to pay all your bills, then chances are you're not very focused on fulfilling your higher purpose in life, or self-actualization, or reaching higher states of spiritual enlightenment, or whatever. You're not focused on those things most of the time, probably, if you're still working a 9-to-5 job and you're struggling to get by financially, because it's just taking up too much of your focus, too much of your energy. So it's not until we get those basic needs completely covered and out of our mind that we are freed up to focus on more important things. So I think that there's just a misunderstanding that money is like not important or something, which is kind of crazy to me, because our whole society runs on money. Our whole economy runs on money. Like literally the roads you drive on depend on money. The car you drive, everything, the camera that I'm using to record this with, the microphone, the computer, everything in this room, the tables, the chairs, the walls, everything needed money to be created. It all required money. So to say that money isn't important in life is just nonsense, because everything you do in life, it had something to do with money. Someone had to create that thing that you're using every day. And to create that, someone had to get compensated financially for that thing as well. So money is just a tool for exchange. It's not good or bad. It's just necessary in the world that we live in. So we have to take the emotions out of money. People have a lot of emotional things about money. They say money is bad, or money is evil, or trying to make more money is evil, it's selfish, whatever. We have to take those emotions out of it and just see it for what it is. Money is just a tool that can give you freedom in life. And freedom can lead to a much happier life if you use that freedom wisely. Some people, they win the lottery, for example, and now they have all the freedom in the world. But what do they do with that freedom? They use it to go gamble and do drugs and all this other stuff. And that makes them miserable. It doesn't make them happy. But that's not money that did that. It's not money that made them miserable. It's the fact that they used money in the wrong ways. So money is not good or bad. It's all about how you use it. Money can give you freedom, but then it's up to you to decide how you use that freedom and where you focus your attention, right? So I think money in the hands of good people is a very good thing, because good people know how to use money. Good people will funnel money towards the things that need it. So if you're a good person, if you're a kind, compassionate, or generous person, then I think you're doing a disservice by refusing to become more financially prosperous. If you are refusing to become more financially prosperous because of some belief that you have, you're actually doing more of a disservice than anything. Because if you had that money, it would mean that you could do more good for the world. You could funnel that money towards things that need that money, that need to be nurtured. Another belief that people have that kind of relates to this is that if I have more money, it means that other people have less money. They think of money as like this finite pool of resources that if I take a bigger chunk of the pie, that means other people have a lesser chunk of the pie. So therefore, by having more money myself, I'm actually making other people have less money. And this is just a complete misunderstanding of how money works. I watched a video the other day on YouTube that was all about how the economy works, and it was really fascinating. It really helped me understand this better. The economy works because of money and all the transactions that take place in this world. And the whole economy is supported by different businesses, right? And so the people that are contributing more to the economy than anyone are the business owners. The people who are creating the businesses and making lots of money, because the more money you make, the more money you can put back into the economy, invest into the economy, and invest into creating more things. And that adds more value to the world. It creates more jobs. It creates more resources. And as you reinvest the money you make, you actually boost the economy. The poor people in this world aren't contributing anything to the economy. It's not to blame them, but they're just not contributing because they don't have anything to contribute. Now, I don't want to get into this discussion because there's a lot of crazy beliefs people have about that as well, how poor people are victims and all of that. I don't believe that either. I believe that anyone, if they choose and if they understand how money really works, anyone, no matter how horrible of a circumstance you're in, you can find a way to get out of that and prosper financially. It doesn't matter where you are now. You can work your way up to financial success. So money is not a finite resource that somehow there's only a limited amount of it. So by you having more money, it doesn't take away from anyone else. It actually helps you contribute more to the economy, which helps the economy grow, which helps everyone. So as the economy grows, everyone's wealth increases. The overall wealth of the country or society or whatever increases. The more people that have money, the more people that invest that money back into the economy, the more people that are creating things for the world, they are the ones who are boosting the economy, which boosts the overall wealth for everyone as a whole. So actually, wealthy people are contributing much more to the economy than people that don't have a lot of money. Now, it's not absolute, so I'm not saying this is always the case. There are some people that hoard their money, and in that case, that's not really helping the economy. Hoarding your money and just accumulating it and not putting it back into the system, putting it back into creating things, creating businesses, that is not really contributing to the economy. So yes, I think you should save money. That's a good thing to do, but not hoard it, not feel like you have to keep it and you can't spend it. It's the spending of money that boosts the economy and helps the society overall. So by you having more money, it doesn't take away from anyone else. It actually gives you more resources to help more people. So you got to get that through your mind. Having lots of money is not a bad thing at all. And that brings us to the third point, which the belief people have that making more money or wanting to make a lot of money is selfish and it makes you a greedy person. And this is a completely backwards belief as well, because what you have to see is that in order to create wealth in the first place, you have to be unselfish. Selfish and greedy people rarely prosper in life, because how you prosper in life is by giving value. Think about it. Money is a tool of exchange, right? When you give someone value in some form, they give you money in return for that. That's one of the ways we do transactions in this world. So how are you going to make a lot of money? You're going to do it by giving a lot of value. And in order to give a lot of value, you usually have to be unselfish. You have to give, and you have to be okay with giving a lot and providing for other people, helping other people in some way. So it's the unselfish and the ungreedy people that have a much higher chance of prospering in life. And on top of that, money doesn't change people. Money just amplifies who people already are. So you having more money is not going to change you as a person. It's just going to give you more resources to use to do whatever you want to do. Some people, they make a lot of money and then they use that money for things that don't add any value to the world and don't do any good for anyone. But if you're a very generous person, when you have a lot of money, you're going to be very generous still, and you're going to give a lot of money. You're going to help a lot of people with that money, right? So money is not going to change who you are as a person. It doesn't make you selfish or greedy just because you have a lot of money. Rich people are not just automatically selfish and greedy just because they're rich. In most cases, people are rich because they're unselfish and they're not greedy and they're willing to give. So these are totally different beliefs than ordinary people, a lot of people in this world have. It's the total opposite of what you believe, what you might believe is true. It's actually the opposite that is closer to the truth. In many cases, that's what I found. It's the opposite of what most people believe. That is what is closer to the truth. So I want you to challenge your beliefs about money. Whatever you think about money, try to reverse that belief and think about how the opposite of it could be true. So if you think rich people are greedy, try to reverse that and think rich people are generous. Rich people are generous. Could that be true? Could that be closer to the truth? In my studies, and I've been studying a lot of successful people for the past 10 years of my life, in my studies, I found that is almost always closer to the truth. Most of the rich and wealthy people that I've learned about, that I've studied, that I've learned from, most of them are the most unselfish, most generous people that I know, honestly. And some of the most selfish, negative people I've ever met are the people that are not wealthy. It's the poor people. So are they that way? Are they selfish because they're poor? You might say, well, they have a reason to be selfish because they're poor. They have nothing, so it's okay for them to be selfish, but not for rich people to be selfish, right? So is it because they're poor that they're selfish, or is it because they're selfish that they're poor? Are they poor because they're selfish, or are they selfish because they're poor? Are rich people rich because they were selfish, or are they rich because they were generous? Those are some things to think about. And I'm not going to give you the answer, but you have to really dig deep into these things yourself and try to find out what the real truth is. And the closer you get to the truth, the more empowered you'll become and the more successful you will become. The truth sets us free. That's what they say, right? And I find that to be very true. The truth does set you free, but you have to know what the actual truth is. If you live your life by things that are just not true, then you're going to struggle. I think that the truth sets us free because the truth is in alignment with the laws of the universe. And that's how we prosper in life. That's how we find peace in our life, is by aligning with universal truths, and to not be caught in our own beliefs about what is true, and to really be open-minded and honest and genuinely curious about what is the actual truth. Maybe everything I believe is not true at all. Maybe it's just something that I learned from someone else, and that's what they believed, and now I believe it, but is it really true? So that's what I want to help you with. I want to encourage you to be more open-minded and more curious about your own belief systems, and really challenge yourself to think differently. Because if you don't think differently, you're never going to change in your life. Like, your results in life aren't going to magically change unless you change. Unless you change your perception of the world, unless you change what you believe and how you feel about things. If you feel like it's bad or wrong to make a lot of money, then you're never going to make a lot of money. That's just as simple as that, because you won't let yourself make a lot of money. Because the minute you have a lot of money, you'll find a way to get rid of it, because subconsciously you think it's selfish to have all this money. So now I got to get rid of it somehow. I got to give it away. You'll sabotage yourself. This happens all the time. It's happened in my life over and over again. We have these unconscious beliefs and these unconscious feelings that hold us back. And it's all because of a belief system, a false belief system that we developed or adopted when we were very young, and we carry it through our lives, and it shapes our whole lives without us even being aware of it. So I want to help people become more aware of these beliefs and these perceptions that aren't necessarily accurate. And if you are truly open-minded, you will come closer to the truth, and it will help you in your life. And it will help you remove any of those negative feelings that you have about prospering and what it means to prosper. And I want you to prosper. I want everyone to prosper, because that is how this world is going to rise from the victimhood and the blaming and the judging and all this pointing fingers. That is only going to be overcome when people understand that they have the ability to shape their own lives, and that they're not a victim of other people and the society that they live in. And only when you take responsibility for your life and you realize that you can design your own life how you want it to be, only when you do that will other people start noticing. This world needs leaders. This world needs people who are empowered, who are at peace with themselves, who understand how this world really works, who are aware of universal truths and live in alignment with them. That's what the world needs. The world doesn't need blaming and judging and criticizing and victimhood. The world needs empowered people who aren't afraid to prosper, who aren't afraid to shine their light, to let their voice be heard. That's what this world needs. And I want to encourage you to start becoming more of that person. The empowered person, the person who knows that they can create what they want in life, and they don't have to feel guilty for it. They don't have to feel ashamed about it. And you can speak your truth and not have to apologize for it. And, that's my mission, and I hope that you're with me. If you are, let me know in the comments below, or reach out to me if you want to connect. If you have any questions that you want me to answer in a future episode, I'd be happy to do that for you. And I want to thank you for listening. That's all for today's episode, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.